Most women think they already know what drives a man wild. But let me tell you this, 9 out of 10 are focusing on the wrong place. And the one spot that matters most, almost nobody talks about it. If you learn how to touch this one pleasure spot, he won't just feel pleasure, he'll feel addicted to you. And the best part? It's so simple, yet so few ever try. Think about it. Every guy has the same set of usual areas he expects attention. But when you unlock the spot he never knew he wanted touched, suddenly you're not just another partner, you're the woman who blows his mind. This isn't just about technique, it's about confidence, timing, and the energy you bring. Because when you give him that mix of thrill and trust, you become unforgettable. Before I reveal how to unlock it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because once you learn this, you'll never look at intimacy the same way again. Let me begin with a line that might make you lean in closer, because what I'm about to say is something most men will never openly tell you, but deep down every man secretly wishes you knew. Ready? Here it is. There's a part of his body that, if you touch it the right way, will make him forget every woman he has ever been with before you. That's how powerful it can be. That's how much of a game changer it is. And yet so many women never even go near it, never explore it, never even think about paying attention to it. We live in a world where people talk a lot about women's pleasure spots, and rightfully so. But when it comes to men, the conversation almost always gets reduced to one obvious place, the joystick. And yes, of course, that's important. But if you stop there, you're missing the doorway to a kind of connection and satisfaction that goes far beyond the physical. Something that can actually make him feel like he's stepped into another world when he's with you. This spot isn't only about giving him pleasure, it's about giving him the feeling of being deeply known. Men carry so many hidden fantasies, desires, and secret cravings in silence. They're often scared of sharing them because they worry about judgment, rejection, or even being laughed at. And when a woman enters that space and shows him that not only does she know about this hidden pleasure spot, but that she is confident enough to explore it, she instantly becomes unforgettable in his eyes. Now, I know what you're probably asking yourself. What is this spot? Where exactly is it? Why don't more women know about it? We'll get there, I promise. But before I reveal it and explain why it matters so much, you need to understand something even more important. This isn't only about anatomy, it's about psychology. It's about closeness. It's about what it represents to him when you give him the kind of satisfaction he secretly dreams of, but rarely ever receives. So let's break it down. I'm going to give you 5 powerful truths about this Fei-1 male pleasure spot. And if you learn them, you won't just make him moan, you'll make him melt in your hands. First, it's not where you think. The spot I'm talking about isn't just his joystick. It goes deeper than that, both physically and emotionally. It's called the prostate. Some even call it the male G-spot. And trust me, if you learn how to stimulate it the right way, you'll unlock a level of intensity in his pleasure that most men will never experience in their whole lives. But here's the important thing. Most men will never bring it up. Why? Because they feel uncomfortable about it. They've been trained to think it's off limits, that it's too private, too vulnerable, too taboo. So he won't ask, but inside he secretly wants a woman who is brave enough, playful enough, and connected enough to explore it with him. Think about what that means. The moment you show curiosity and openness about this spot, you're sending him a message far stronger than, I want to make you feel good. What you're really saying is, I see every part of you, even the parts you're scared to reveal. That is intimacy. That is trust. And that's why this spot is about so much more than just physical satisfaction. Second, this spot unlocks more than pleasure. It unlocks his surrender. Most men live their whole lives in control. They're told to lead, to hold everything together, to always stay strong. Even in the bedroom, many men feel pressure to be the one, running the experience, keeping it going, making it happen. But when you touch this spot, when you explore it, you give him something he rarely receives, the gift of letting go. You allow him to stop performing and simply feel. That's why men crave it so much, even if they never say it out loud. It's not just about the release, it's about surrender. Imagine how powerful that is for your relationship. Imagine a man who feels safe enough with you to let down all his walls, take off all his armor, and allow you to take him to a place he has never been before. That's what this pleasure spot can do. It's not just about making him feel good, it's about making him feel completely free. Third, this spot proves you're not afraid of his vulnerability. Here's something many women don't realize. When you approach a man's prostate, or even talk about it, you're stepping into his most vulnerable space. And when you don't flinch, when you don't judge, when you show him you can hold that space with confidence and even excitement, you prove something incredibly rare. You prove that you can handle his deepest self. And that right there creates a bond most people never experience. Most men walk through life feeling like they must hide pieces of who they really are. The moment you show him you're not afraid of those hidden parts, he feels safe. Safe enough to open up more with you, not just in the bedroom but outside of it too. That's how physical pleasure becomes real intimacy. That's how intimacy grows into unshakable connection. So when you think about the FA1 male pleasure spot, don't just think about the technique or the mechanics. Think about what it means to him. Think about the message you're sending when you say, "I'm willing to go there with you." Because the message isn't just, "I want to make you feel good." It's, "I want every part of you and I can handle all of you." I know this might sound intense. For some women, even hearing the word prostate in a conversation about pleasure can feel like stepping into unfamiliar territory. But let me assure you, the women who lean in instead of pulling away are the ones men never forget. Because they don't just touch his body, they touch his heart, his soul, and we're only scratching the surface. I want to take you even deeper into what this spot does for him, why he fantasizes about it but never speaks it aloud, and how you can approach it in a way that doesn't just surprise him but makes him crave you on a whole new level. That's where I want to guide you next. So let's continue from here. You now know what the spot is, and you understand why it matters, not just physically but emotionally too. But here's the part that takes everything further. Once you understand how to approach it, how to bring it into your intimacy without fear or awkwardness, it stops being just a spot. It becomes a doorway into the kind of closeness most men don't even know how to describe. But once they feel it, they can never forget it. Fourth, playfulness is the key. One of the biggest mistakes women make when they finally learn about the prostate or this male pleasure spot is that they approach it with too much seriousness, too much pressure, or even hesitation. They think, what if he thinks this is strange? What if he pulls away? What if I do it wrong? And guess what? He's probably thinking the exact same things. So what happens? Both of you walk carefully around it. Either it never gets explored at all, or it gets brought up in a way that feels awkward and heavy. But here's what you need to remember. Playfulness changes everything. Men don't want a clinical partner. They don't want you turning this into some kind of performance or mechanical routine. What he really wants, though he'll never admit it out loud, is for you to bring the same playful, teasing, adventurous energy you already use in other parts of intimacy into this too. To giggle, to flirt, to whisper in his ear, "You trust me," and then gently push his limits in a way that feels exciting instead of overwhelming. Think of it like this: if intimacy is a dance, this is one of those steps he doesn't know how to take alone. You have to guide him into it. But you don't do it with a lecture or with pressure. You do it with curiosity, with fun, with that mischievous sparkle in your eye that says, "I know something you don't know, and soon you'll be thanking me for it." Men secretly crave this energy because it takes away the fear of being judged. If you're laughing, if you're light-hearted, if you're playful, he lets go. He feels safe. He stops overthinking and starts actually enjoying it. That's when his body begins to open up. That's when his pleasure explodes. And that's when he thinks to himself, I can't believe she's this bold, this adventurous, this free with me. Remember, playfulness doesn't mean immaturity, it means freedom. It means creating an atmosphere where nothing feels forced and everything feels like exploration. And that is one of the most attractive things in a partner. You become the woman who makes him feel like a boy again. Curious, excited, alive. Now let's move to the next truth. This spot is the bridge between raw desire and deep love. This might be the most important point of all. The Feiwan male pleasure spot isn't only about giving him a new kind of climax or making him feel physically satisfied. It's about what happens afterward. It's about the emotional imprint it leaves on him. Most men live with a split inside themselves. On one side they carry lust, the raw, animal-like part of them that wants intensity, passion, release. On the other side they carry love, the gentle, emotional, vulnerable part that longs for trust, connection, and safety. But here's the problem. Many men never get to join those two together. They feel like they can only have one or the other. With one partner they might feel fiery passion but no emotional closeness. With another they might feel safe and cared for but not excited by desire. When you guide him into the Feiwan pleasure spot, you actually bring those two worlds together. You show him that it's possible to feel wild passion and deep love at the same time. You show him he doesn't have to hide one side of himself or split into pieces. He can be the messy, lustful man and still be completely safe and accepted in your arms. Do you see how powerful that is? Do you realize how rare that is for a man? Most men go through life starving for exactly this. Starving for a woman who lets them be everything, not just the polished version they present to the world. That's why he secretly dreams about it. That's why it lingers in his subconscious, even if he never puts it into words. Because it represents more than just pleasure. It represents freedom. Freedom from judgment. Freedom from pressure. Freedom to be a man who can finally let go without worrying what she'll think. And when you're the woman who gives him that freedom, you don't just become another chapter in his story. You become the story. You become the standard. Every woman he meets after you will feel less in comparison, because you didn't just touch his body, you touched his essence. You went where no one else was willing to go, and you gave him something priceless, a love that accepted and embraced all of him. Now let's pause for a second, because I know for some of you listening, there's a little voice whispering, I'm not sure I could ever do this. What if he thinks differently of me? What if it changes how he looks at me? And here's what I want you to know. It won't make him see you as less. It will make him see you as more bold, more confident, more irresistible. Because nothing is sexier than a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to guide him there. And let me add this, the Feiwan male pleasure spot isn't just about him, it's about you too. Because when you explore it, you're not only giving him a gift, you're receiving one as well. You get the thrill of knowing you have power over his pleasure. You get to see this strong, composed man melt into gasps, shivers, and surrender in your hands. You get to feel what it's like to be the one who unlocks his deepest ecstasy. That kind of power is intoxicating. That kind of confidence spills into every part of your relationship. So don't think of this as some optional extra. Don't treat it like a fringe idea you might one day try. Think of it as an opportunity, a chance to strengthen your bond, to lift your intimacy to new heights, to become unforgettable in his life. Because here's the truth. If you want to know how to stand out in a man's heart and memory, it's not about competing with women from his past. It's about going places they never dared to go. And this is one of those places. Now, as we move into the final part of this talk, I want to go even deeper. I want to show you how to approach this with him in a way that feels natural, safe, and exciting. I want to take the idea out of the fantasy world and bring it into real life. Without fear, without shame, and without awkwardness. Because when you do this, you won't just be the woman who gave him great intimacy, you'll be the woman who redefined what intimacy means to him, and that's a role he will never forget. So here we are. You now know what the Fei-1 male pleasure spot is, why it's so powerful, and why men secretly crave it, even when they never admit it. But knowing is just the first step. The real question is, how do you actually bring this into your relationship in a way that feels natural, fun, and unforgettable? That's what I want to show you now. Because remember, it's not enough to just know about this spot. The magic happens when you create the right environment. One where he feels safe enough, turned on enough, and connected enough to finally let go and surrender to it. So let me walk you through it step by step. First step, plant the seed with curiosity, not pressure. Men are proud. Even if they secretly dream about this spot, they're not going to come right out and say, "Hey, can you try this on me?" Instead, they'll bury it, ignore it, or crack jokes to cover it up. That's why it's up to you to open the door. But the key is, you can't push him. Don't frame it as, "We have to do this," frame it as curiosity. Maybe it's as simple as teasing him in a playful moment and whispering, "You know, there's a spot on your body most men never even experience, but it's supposed to drive you insane. Want me to show you?" That kind of phrasing takes the taboo away. It makes it fun. It turns it into an adventure, not a demand. And most importantly, it shows you as the playful guide, not a serious teacher. That one line, "Want me to show you," is pure gold because it does two powerful things. It wakes up his sense of curiosity and mystery, and at the same time it gives him the feeling of control. He feels like he is choosing to explore, not being pushed into something. And that is so important because for a man to enjoy this part of intimacy, he has to feel like it is his decision, not pressure. Step 2, move into vulnerability slowly with layers of trust. Here's the real truth. No matter how curious or open-minded he may be, most men will still feel nervous when you touch this place for the first time. It's vulnerable, it's personal, it's new. That's exactly why you must create layers of safety and trust around it. Begin with closeness, deep eye contact, soft kisses, and gentle touch. Let your body language show him that he is safe with you. Whisper calming words like, "You're going to love this," or "Trust me, I've got you." Simple phrases like these are like magic spells. They melt his walls, calm his nerves, and help him stop overthinking. Instead of analyzing, he will start feeling. Remember, this isn't only about physical moves, it's about his mind too. If he feels judged, tense, or doubtful, his body will close up. But if he feels safe, wanted, and cared for, he will let go. And when he finally lets go, the pleasure will flow naturally. Step 3. Mix it with the things he already enjoys. A common mistake many women make is treating this pleasure spot as if it's totally separate from everything else. They suddenly change the vibe and it feels disconnected. But the real secret is blending. Make it a natural part of the intimacy, not the main focus, but one piece of the whole experience. For example, if he is already turned on, if you're already touching and exciting him in the ways he enjoys, that's the perfect time to bring this in. At that moment, his body is loose, his excitement is high, and his mind is open. That's when you introduce this new feeling. That's when he will accept it without pushing back. And when he feels that burst of pleasure that comes from mixing the old with the new, he won't just like it, he'll crave it. He will start linking that deep pleasure with you. And that's exactly how you become unforgettable, how you become addictive in his mind. Step 4, celebrate his reaction. Don't study it. The first time you try this together, his response might surprise both of you. He may moan louder than usual, his body might shake, or he might release in a way that feels more powerful than ever before. And sometimes he might feel shy about that. He may wonder if he lost control or if it was too much. That's why your role is to celebrate, not criticize. Smile at him, kiss him, tell him how hot it was to see him let go like that. Make him feel like his release was the sexiest thing you've ever seen. Because if you do, he will never hold himself back again. He will know that with you he can be completely free. Instead of judgment, he will feel your desire. That's what men secretly want deep inside. Not just to be touched in their most sensitive place, but to be accepted in their raw, unguarded state. And when you give him that gift, you give him more than pleasure. you give him freedom. Step 5. Connect the experience to your love. This is the last step, but maybe the most powerful. If you want this male pleasure spot to truly transform your relationship, don't just stop at the physical side, anchor it with emotions afterward. When he's lying there in that post-pleasure calm, when his walls are completely down, hold him close, touch his face, look deeply into his eyes, and say something that links this moment to your bond. Something as simple as, "I love being the one who makes you feel this way." That is the imprint he will never forget. Because now, it's not just a physical act, it's tied to you, to your love, your intimacy, your connection. That's how you make yourself unforgettable to him. Long after the physical thrill is over, he will still remember how safe, how free, how deeply loved he felt in that moment with you. And here's the truth, his body will hold on to that memory. Each time he thinks of you, he'll feel it again. Each time another woman comes close, he will compare, and every time he compares, he will realize no one else gave him what you did. No one else was brave enough to go there with him. That is the real power of knowing the hidden male pleasure spot. It's not just a trick, not just a move. It's a doorway into his soul. So let's bring everything together. Men don't often talk about this. They won't usually ask for it. But deep inside, they crave it. They dream about it. They hope for a woman who is brave enough, playful enough, and loving enough to explore it with them. And if you are that woman, you give him an experience that changes him forever. And here's what's even more beautiful. When you give this to him, you'll see a side of him you've never seen before. A side that is soft, surrendered, fully open. And that side of him doesn't only make intimacy better, it makes love stronger. Because when a man feels safe enough to surrender in the bedroom, he starts to feel safe enough to open up in his heart too. He trusts you more. He lets you in deeper. That's how your bond moves from surface level to soul level. So don't be afraid. Don't hold yourself back. Step into this with courage, with curiosity, and with love. Because this male pleasure spot isn't only about giving him ecstasy. It's about giving both of you a connection that many couples will never discover. And if you're sitting here right now wondering, but will he really like this? Will it really matter? Let me tell you, just try it once. Watch his reaction. Feel the shift in his body. And when you do, you'll see this was never only about intimacy. It was about closeness. It was about him finally feeling truly seen, accepted, and loved in the way he always wished for. And when you give a man that, you stop being just a woman in his life. You become the woman of his life. So if this message opened your eyes and gave you something new to think about, don't let it stop here. Subscribe now, because every day I share secrets not just to help you understand men, but to help you build the kind of intimacy, passion, and connection that makes him completely devoted to you. Don't settle for average love. Step into extraordinary love. Subscribe and let's build that together.